what's natural and normal is actually what's completely obvious, and that's raw, organic, original food. And how do you do it? This is really why we're here today. Is like, how do you crack the code on actually doing it? And this is the easiest thing ever. Here's the most difficult thing ever. This food's bad, this food's good. Don't eat that, even though you really want that. That's every diet book, isn't it? Which is like a diet. Like, I can't have all the things I want. How long do you think that's going to last? A day, a week, a month, a year. But one day, the willpower collapses. Or something happens, usually like an emotional disturbance of some sort. And what happens next? Boom, pizza, the whole thing. And then it's like the whole thing. And then you eat more of it than before. Because it's that whole thing of like, oh, that's bad for me. I better not have that, but I really want it. It's why. So we're coming into a place, though, where we can actually get out of our drug problem, which is actually the food problem. Because all the food today is drugs. How do we do that? Well, the key thing is getting off drugs, all the foods that are drugs. I know a guy who, he was involved in developing, I think it was yellow dye number 8. Here was his instructions given to him. We need a dye that has this color. We need it to be addictive so that people keep wanting more of it. How many of those do you think are in processed foods? Dozens of things, probably a dozen things in that food. And then the explosion of cancer, or just the explosion of stomach disorders, stomach pain. I can tell you that I have not had a stomach ache in 15 years. That's the truth. Not even a digestive disturbance of any kind. Now that's where their technology is at. Now if we eat food that is just made in some kind of laboratory somewhere and we get a digestive disturbance, it's amazing to me how many people don't realize that it's probably something we're eating. Or teeth problems. 98.5% of Americans have teeth problems. And isn't it obvious that if you have a teeth problem, you should probably like either stop eating for a day or two just to give your teeth a rest, and or change what you're eating, because what else would cause a teeth problem? Is that sensible? Or is that completely out to lunch? Literally, metaphorically, figuratively, all of it. So that's kind of, it's like there's something about raw organic food diets that it cuts through the BS really strongly and allows you to go, whoa, uh-oh. Because just because we ate some pasteurized, homogenized, glow-in-the-dark, remote control, larvicide, fungicide, herbicide, suicide, genetically modified, hormonally altered, pus-filled, blood-filled, chalk-filled, tap water injected milk product in a plastic gallon jug doesn't mean that's natural or normal. And all of that is true, times 10 probably, all that's true. The tap water, you go online, I love this, Google it. Google how much bacteria is allowed in a gallon of pasteurized milk. You won't believe it. It's billions of organisms per gallon. What kind of organisms are they? Probably E. coli and others. But meanwhile, we have to pasteurize almonds. It's the worst of the worst, and it is the best of the best. But the best of the best always has to be better than the worst of the worst. So what shows up as a solution in the times that we're in is absolutely astonishing. Now here's the key. If you get in a good-bad thing, that doesn't work. It's an unwinnable situation. Here's what works. You just add in the good stuff as best as you understand it, what you like, when you can. How easy? That's the easiest thing possible. Here's what happens when you do that. A year later, boom, people show up. I'm going to ask you guys that in this group right here, if any of you fit in this category. Almost every audience now, there's 2, 3, 4, 5 people in this category. A year later, someone show up, lost 100 pounds without trying eating what they like any time of the day or night, without guilt, fear, or shame. Why? Because when you add in the good, we don't even know what the good stuff is. I grew up on McDonald's. I grew up on Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms cereal. No kidding. Some kind of like cloned banana from Ecuador that's like this big that, what is that? That's sprayed with every kind of pesticide imaginable. So actually changing to something else, I'm like, uh-oh, Let me think about this. So when we add in the good stuff, our body goes, whoa, wait a second, I can feel something. How many people have tried to change their diet and felt nothing? Right? Became vegetarian, and I don't really feel any different. This doesn't feel any different than that. I tried this diet, didn't lose weight, or lost the weight, and then gained it all back. Does that sound familiar?
I gained weight becoming a vegetarian.
A lot of people gain weight becoming vegetarians because the starch, all the starchy carbohydrates. Some people gain weight if they eat fat, and some people gain weight if they eat starchy carbohydrates. So I'm the type of person, I can eat fat all day. You can't even believe, I used to eat 8 avocados a day. There's no way I can do that now, but I did that in the original days, early days, before there was any, before I even knew what the hell I was doing. I just thought it sounds a lot better than Cheetos. Like avocados fattening. Have you heard this? Let me tell you what's fattening. The potato chips that are going in there, the Doritos or whatever those things are, the corn chips and the cottage cheese. Nothing will put weight on a kid faster than dairy products. Just boom, slaps the weight right on. Nothing will put weight on an adult faster than dairy products. Slaps the weight right on. It's dead weight, and really it's glue. It's gluey weight. It's not what you want.
What about raw goat cheese?
Well, raw goat cheese is great if it works for you. Here's a myth. There's guys out there saying that you are allergic, if we're allergic to milk products, it's only the cooked dairy products. That's not true. You can be allergic to raw dairy products too. I'm allergic to both cooked and raw dairy products. It's really, food allergies. Let's just back it down to this. Food allergies are rampant. And a friend of mine was involved in a research study in prisons in the United Kingdom. She came to me with their research results and their peer-reviewed medical documents that they all put together, a huge study. Here's what they found. Their theory was that mineral deficiencies cause juvenile delinquency in kids, erratic behavior, destructive behavior. But here's what they actually found was the truth. They found it was food allergies. That if the kids ate foods that they were allergic to, dairy, wheat, processed forms of chocolate, and they had a whole top 10, if they ate that food, they would behave erratically and crazily. Once they got off that food, their behavior normalized, even though they were eating a mineral-deficient diet, even though they were eating a cooked diet. That's really important information. It means that if we just knock out a few things that we're allergic to, and the top 3 usually are, number 1, dairy, then wheat products, and then probably is like the processed sugar. It's usually a sugar allergy, refined sugar, which is present in candy bars, chocolate bars, that kind of a thing. If we knock those 3 out, then all of a sudden, like a child's behavior can completely change like overnight, and an adult's behavior.
What was the name of that study?
I have it in my office. I'd have to look it up. And it's the first study they did was on zinc and copper levels and how that affects behavior. And the second study was on what I just said. And it's fascinating research. I'm actually going to be putting that in a new book that I have coming out. I'm going to have a couple books out this year, new ones. How many people have ever read any of my books? How many people are ever going to read them again? Oh my God. And again, here's how I was trained in speaking and in writing. And this is a very powerful thing that happened to me when I was 16 years old. We used to go and spend our winter vacations in Lake Tahoe. How many people have been to Lake Tahoe? Isn't the beauty out there outrageous? By the way, appreciation of beauty. Getting into an appreciation of beauty is an enormous side effect of eating natural foods. The subtle side effects that come along, that's one of them. I go to places now, it's like, oh, this is heaven. Everywhere. Everywhere you go, it's like